In a nation known for its beauty and biodiversity, a storm of politics has taken root. This is not a story of nature, but of power. In October 2025, Madagascar witnessed a change few expected and many feared. The streets erupted in chants. The people rose. And from the ranks of the military emerged a name that would soon echo through every radio, every home, and every headline. Colonel Michael Randrianirina. But who is this man? A patriot? A reformer? A survivor of Madagascar's endless political turmoil? Tonight, we uncover the untold story of how a soldier became a president and what it means for the future of Madagascar. Michael Randrianirina was born in the southern highlands of Madagascar into a modest family far from the capital. From an early age, discipline shaped his life. While his peers dreamed of music or commerce, young Michael dreamed of uniform and service. He joined the Malagasy military in his early 20s, a time when the country was struggling through political instability, economic crisis, and waves of public protest. Within the ranks, Randrianirina was not known for charisma, but for control. He rarely smiled, rarely spoke out of turn. His fellow officers described him as silent but precise. As a career soldier, he rose through the infantry, earning command of an elite tactical group known as CAPSAT, the Corps of Military Administrative Personnel and Technical Support. This unit was the backbone of order during crises, often called upon to quell riots, protect installations, or secure political events. It was a force loyal to stability, but its commander, Randrianirina, was becoming restless. In 2023, whispers began to spread inside the barracks. Madagascar's leadership, under President Rajoelina, was faltering. Corruption, power cuts, food shortages, and a growing anger among soldiers who hadn't been paid in weeks. Randrianirina, then a colonel, voiced his concerns publicly. He called for reforms in military pay, supply chains, and political accountability. For that, he was arrested, charged with instigating mutiny. He spent several weeks in confinement, but the government, under pressure, later released him on a suspended sentence. What they didn't realize then was that this act of punishment turned him into a symbol, not of rebellion, but of resistance. To the military, he became the man who dared to speak. To the people, he was a soldier unafraid of politicians. By 2025, discontent had reached its boiling point. Madagascar's youth, frustrated by unemployment, blackouts, and inflation, took to the streets. This movement was unlike anything before. It was driven by Gen Z, armed not with guns, but with smartphones, social media, and unyielding anger. They posted, they protested, and they rallied in thousands, demanding the resignation of President Rajoelina. As chaos spread, the government ordered the army to restore order. But CAPSAT, under Colonel Randrianirina, refused to open fire. Instead, they laid down their weapons and joined the people. This single act shattered decades of political control. Within days, soldiers and civilians stood side by side. The president fled the country, and power, once again, shifted from palace to parade ground. When President Rajoelina disappeared from public view, the nation was left in suspense. Who would take control? Within 48 hours, the National Assembly announced that the presidency was vacant. The Constitutional Court, long criticized for being political, confirmed it, and in a move that stunned the world, they invited Colonel Randrianirina to assume power, temporarily to restore order. On October 17, 2025, he stood before the court, hand raised, and took an oath as the new president of the Republic of Madagascar. Cameras flashed, soldiers saluted, and across the nation, the crowd whispered, "The soldier is now the president." Unlike his predecessors, Randrianirina didn't give fiery speeches. His tone was calm, almost emotionless. He promised a refoundation of the republic, a plan to rebuild the nation from the ground up. He vowed to restore national pride, punish corruption, and hold elections within 2 years. But behind the promise came power. Within a week, he dissolved the Senate, the Electoral Commission, and even the Constitutional Court that swore him in. To his supporters, this was a cleansing. To his critics, it was the birth of a dictatorship. Madagascar's neighbors in the world watched with caution. The African Union suspended Madagascar from its councils, calling the transition unconstitutional. Western governments condemned the takeover. But inside the island, the story was different. To millions of young Malagasy, Randrianirina wasn't a tyrant. He was a savior, the man who refused to shoot at them, the man who stood with the people when no one else would. And for now, that faith keeps him in power. But every ruler's test is time. History tells us, power seized in chaos often struggles to survive peace. Randrianirina faces a nation divided between hope and fear. He must rebuild the economy, restore electricity, and win the trust of those who once rebelled. Yet, whispers inside the military say some generals are uneasy, jealous of his rise, waiting for a mistake. If he succeeds, he will be remembered as the soldier who saved Madagascar. If he fails, he will join the long list of African rulers who rose in glory and fell in silence. In 2025, a soldier took the throne not through elections, but through revolt. His name, Colonel Michael Randrianirina. His promise, rebirth. His challenge, history itself. Thanks for watching Africa Rulers Uncovered. If you love stories of Africa's power, legacy, and leadership, hit subscribe, turn on the bell icon, and join us as we uncover the untold history of African rulers.